A single published rating from a research analyst can wipe billions off a market cap or trigger a massive buying frenzy. They move markets. But these analysts operate inside investment banks and brokerages, institutions whose primary revenue comes from executing trades and winning lucrative corporate deals. This creates a severe structural tension. To govern it, the Securities and Exchange Board of India, SEBI, steps in. The 2014 regulations establish a specific set of mathematical and structural constraints, the operational firewall. This firewall provides the mechanical separation necessary to maintain objectivity across the firm's hierarchy. It is specifically designed to isolate the research function from the relentless pressures of investment banking and brokerage sales teams. The goal is to guarantee that every recommendation is objective, independent, and completely unbiased. This structural isolation ensures that published research remains a reliable component of market integrity. Building this firewall starts with controlling the flow of information, governed by the SEBI Prohibition of Insider Trading Regulations 2015. Look at this structural map of a financial firm. The core threat here is unpublished price-sensitive information, or UPSI. Possession of this non-public data grants a structural advantage that undermines the purpose of public market research. To prevent this, SEBI mandates a strict Chinese wall policy. Research analysts must be physically separated from any department holding UPSI, like corporate finance or advisory. This physical barrier must be reinforced by a digital one. Analysts operate on restricted servers behind network firewalls to ensure no accidental data leakage occurs. There are rare exceptions. An analyst might be brought across the wall if their specific expertise is required for a highly confidential project. The moment an analyst crosses that wall, it triggers rigorous compliance logging. Access is granted strictly on a need-to-know basis, and all interactions are monitored. Controlling information access handles the input. The SEBI PFUTP regulations of 2003 handle the output, shifting the focus from what the analyst knows to how they trade. A major threat to market fairness is front-running. This happens if an analyst, knowing they are about to publish a strong buy rating, purchases the stock for their personal account right before hitting publish to ride the resulting price surge. Under the PFUTP framework, this behavior is strictly prohibited. An analyst cannot trade ahead of their own unpublished research. The Chinese wall ensures structural information asymmetry cannot be weaponized by the analyst for personal gain. To enforce this mathematically, SEBI's Regulation 16 dictates exactly when an analyst is legally allowed to trade. This timeline maps out the operational window. Everything revolves around day zero, the exact moment a research report is published to the public. For 30 days prior to this publication, the research analyst and their associates are entirely blocked from trading the recommended securities. That blackout extends for 5 days after publication. This ensures the broader market has time to digest the information before the analyst can execute any personal trades. Furthermore, an analyst cannot execute a personal trade that directly contradicts their own active recommendation. If you tell the public to buy, you cannot quietly sell your own shares. Beyond personal trading, Regulation 18 establishes mandatory quiet periods for the firm surrounding initial and further public offerings. If the analyst's firm acts as a manager or co-manager for an IPO, they are barred from publishing research or making public appearances regarding that issuer for 40 days after the securities are priced. For a further public offering, that restricted block is set to exactly 10 days. These strict mathematical windows eliminate the temptation of short-term personal profit and prevent firms from artificially pumping up their own corporate deals. Even with personal trading restricted, immense institutional pressure remains. Investment banks have a financial incentive to see positive research published about their corporate clients. Regulations 17 and 18 act as the legal mechanism that severs this corporate link. A research analyst's bonuses and salary absolutely cannot be tied to specific investment banking or brokerage transactions. Their compensation must be reviewed and approved by an independent committee. To maintain this boundary, analysts are prohibited from participating in business solicitation or sales pitches. They cannot be used to win new investment banking clients. They are also banned from participating in deal roadshows, keeping them entirely out of the marketing machinery. Finally, analysts cannot report to or be supervised by personnel from the merchant banking or brokerage divisions. The reporting lines must remain completely separate. By cutting this financial link, SEBI creates the institutional environment necessary for intellectual independence. The final layer of defense is Regulation 19. Since it is impossible to eliminate every potential conflict of interest from a complex financial institution, SEBI forces any remaining ones out into the public light. Look at this breakdown. If a research analyst or their associates hold 1% or more of the subject company's securities, they must explicitly declare that beneficial ownership in the report. They must also disclose if they or their firm received any compensation from the subject company in the trailing 12 months, whether for investment banking or other services. The regulations also mandate modern technical requirements. Analysts must explicitly disclose the extent to which artificial intelligence tools were used in preparing their research. This transparency extends to how analysts market themselves to the public through the SEBI Advertisement Code. There is an absolute ban on promising risk-free returns or guaranteeing any level of performance. They are prohibited from using superlative terms like best, number one, or top advisor in their promotional materials. Even the communication of past performance data is heavily scrutinized and must be officially certified to ensure accuracy. Disclosures do not prevent conflicts, but they force the analyst to operate in the daylight, allowing the market to mathematically price in any residual bias. Look at the complete architecture we've mapped out. Chinese walls, strict trading windows, compensation limits, mandatory disclosures, cybersecurity frameworks, and proper certification. Compliance is not a static state. It requires the active, daily management of these perimeters to maintain the firewall. And the strict barrier to entry for operating inside this powerful system is passing the NISM Research Analyst certification. It all traces back to that central tension, the collision of market-moving analytical power and intense corporate pressure. This legal environment exists not to hinder the analyst, but to protect them from that exact pressure. Rigorous adherence to this framework ensures that the research analyst functions as a fiduciary-level source of market intelligence.